Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Gail Bliss, and I would like to introduce Nikki Conklin, running for Alder in District 9. As we begin, please give an opening statement about your educational, vocational, and civic experience you have, which prepares you for this office, and why you are running for Alder.
Thank you, Gail. Like she stated, my name is Nikki Conklin. I have been the Alder of the 9th District for the last 4 years. I was first elected in 2021. I've ran a re-election, and this is my second re-election since then. I have lived in Madison for the last 22 years. I moved here in 2003 after I graduated high school. I'm originally from Montello, Wisconsin. And I have actually moved. I moved to Wexford Ridge, where I currently reside now, and I have lived here for the last 14 years. Prior to becoming an alder, I had went to school. I started in 2012 at Madison College, got my associate's degree in 2016, and then I went on to Upper Iowa University, the Madison branch, and graduated with my bachelor's degree in human services in 2020. Before or along with that, I have also been involved with the Lucier Community Education Center, which is like a second home to me and my children. I did an internship there. I was an AmeriCorps member. I volunteered, and I even sat at the board of directors. Including my work with the Lucier Center, I was involved with the Neighborhood Organizing Institute, which really helped me become a neighborhood leader, organizer, and advocate. I spent a lot of time with the children here in Wexford Ridge. I did an internship at John Muir Elementary School. So being involved with the children and families has really just taken a place in my heart, and it makes me just so happy to be around the children and engage them and empower them to use their voices as power. So thank you.
How would you evaluate the city's current efforts to address homelessness and increase the amount of affordable housing? Are there additional steps the city should take to address these issues?
Thank you, Gail. I think the city is doing the best that they can with considering the rapid growth in Madison, Wisconsin. I think that we are addressing the homeless issues we have approved and are working on building the men's homeless shelter on the east side of Madison. I have supported that, and I will continue supporting efforts to combat homelessness. I think having resources available like the Beacon, church, day centers is a positive that the city is doing to make sure that folks are able to get connected in the community and be able to hopefully come out of homelessness. And another thing that we had did and I approved and supported was the Dairy Drive encampment, one of the first encampments in the state. That has been successful. We have moved people out of there to their own permanent housing. So that's the goal, is really to help folks to get into permanent housing, that they're able to stand alone and be able to be productive members of the community. Again, I think housing, dealing with the affordable housing, is that we need to have more areas that are more denser in housing, and then also going to a mixed income use housing where we have people with market rate rent, 50% of their median income, 30% of their median income. I think what the city learned is that we cannot just have one concentrated area of homelessness shelters or low income housing, because if we don't have the correct resources, if we don't have enough funding, that they do not become successful from that. So I like to focus more on mixed income housing, where we have all different levels of income in one building and have more of those. I think that's important, that we concentrate on density and having mixed income.
What actions or programs would you support to enhance public safety in Madison? And in particular, what is your position on the use of body cameras by Madison police officers, given the recent demonstration project?
Yes, I think what I have been doing is I have been supporting the CARES program, which has been monumental for the city of Madison. It opened up its first CARES program, which if people are not aware of what CARES is, let me explain that a little bit. It's the Community Alternative Response Emergency Services team. So instead of having the police go to every single call, we know that that's just not possible when people are experiencing mental health. And so the CARES team is made up of mental health providers, nurses, and paramedics that are not police officers. So they have been so successful in doing and taking calls and going to certain situations where they're needed that we have expanded CARES 3 times since 2021. And now currently we are actually looking to expand into Sun Prairie. They are wanting our services there and to form a team in Sun Prairie. So as we see, there's a dire need to have the correct professionals go to the correct job. And that's something that I will continue to support and I will want to see more of. It is detrimental for people in mental health crises not to be arrested and thrown into jail because that's not addressing the root cause of the problem. So I definitely want to see more CARES program in our public safety, more violence prevention. And lastly, about the body worn cameras, I think that it would be a great tool, but again, I don't think that we have the funding to be able to fund body worn cameras as we've seen through the pilot program.
In the wake of the recent referendum to increase property taxes, what are your priorities for the city budget?
My budget or my yes, my criteria for the budget, I would say, is that we do try to cut down on spending, that we do combine different resources to go together. I feel like there's a lot of programs that work silo, and I would like to see more collaboration where people can work together and we can combat the budget area. Again, the budget is not really my expertise. I'm not in the finance committee. Math is not my number one subject, but what I do want to say is that I thank the residents for passing the referendum because otherwise we would have to do a 10% cut across all agencies, all departments. And we know that all these departments is what makes the city run. So I appreciate that we did not have to face that 10% cut. But what we have been doing, our common council, for the last 3 budgets, we have implemented a 1% cut across all agencies for the cost to continue. So we are aware, we know that there's constraints. We thank the Madison residents for passing the referendum, and we know that it is definitely hard for people on fixed incomes and the elderly. So I'm grateful for that, but we are looking at ways to combine, to eliminate and get rid of things in the budget that are no longer serving us.
How should Madison balance the need for development with other concerns, such as traffic, historic preservation, and the conservation of natural areas?
Another great question. I think all those things play into one another. So I think it's good that we have communication. Like we should be talking to the school districts, we should be talking to the police, we should be talking to businesses in the area that would be affected by this. We need to be in communication so that when they do have more people coming in, that we're able to serve them correctly. Everyone has needs and their needs want to be met. And I really believe that people's basic needs should be met as far as housing, employment, and education, healthcare. So we know Madison is growing and we need to keep that in the forefront of how we're going to serve everybody and make sure that we have resources available.
What are the most critical issues that you see the people in your district facing? And what do you propose to do to address these?
Great question. Thank you. The biggest issue in my area for District 9 would be the natural preservation. I have an area called the Sauk Creek Greenway, and there is stormwater management needed in that area to make sure that we do not experience the flooding experience that we had in 2018. So there's things that need to be done. We need to clear the greenway out of invasive species and dying trees and try to keep the healthy ones. And that's what we want to do. We want to keep all the healthy trees, but if we do not get back there and clean up and continue to maintain the area, it's going to kill off the healthy trees and species back there. So um, myself and the city are trying to save as much as possible, but there's work that needs to be done. And if we don't get it done, we could be facing the next flooding the next time it rains. So everything works hand in hand. We got to make sure that we are taking everyone's thoughts and engagement into account, and that's what we're doing. I have engaged my community. We're working on our 5th or 6th public information over the last year. So people are speaking, they're telling us what they want, and we're doing our best that we can to bring everyone's ideas and thoughts to the table, because that's most important, is hearing from my constituents and what they want and how we can help accommodate that.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
I would like to say that it has been an honor to serve as alder for the last 4 years. This is complex, this is stressful, this is hard work, but I have the energy, I have the will, the desire to continue to bring those most marginalized voices to the table. I want to bring power to the people, and our voices are power. So the more times we use our voice, the more power we have. So I would like nothing more to continue to represent you at the table. Being a single Black mother to 3 children, I know the importance of what we need in this community, and that's having our basic needs met with resources to be able to provide for these children, to empower them and engage them, because they are our future and we need to invest in them. And once we invest in them, then they'll invest back into us, into our community, into the city of Madison as a whole. So I ask that people check out my website, nikki.vote, for more information, or Nikki for District 9 on Facebook, the number 4, the number 9. And I hope to earn your vote on February 18th.
I want to thank Nikki for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the primary election day is Tuesday, February 18th, and the general election is Tuesday, April 1st. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.